Today on this video, why is it I obsess with the question, why is it that kids, smart kids who are capable kids, creative kids, struggle with math, in many cases hate math, in many cases think they can't do math? I obsess about this question. I obsess with taking those kids and taking them from struggling in math, in some cases zero in math, all the way to A's. On this video, I'm going to give you three things that you can explain to your child today, to answer those questions that you get. What's the point? I can't do math. Why am I doing math? If you explain these three things to your child, you will begin to get them engaged. And these are the three things, the fundamental principles that I use to transform kids from struggling with math to getting A's. What are they? First, and this the first is it's there. Now, it's out there, and it's a thing. Which the first disservice we do to children, to students in school, is try to convince them that they must do math, that it's the first biggest challenge in math for most kids comes in the fifth grade fractions and sixth grade negative numbers. And one of the and then in seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade, it becomes algebra and polynomials in particular. And the frustration that the difficulty that I see, the disservice that we're doing to children, to students in school, is by not recognizing that there is something here that is a challenge. It's something to learn. It is not obvious. It is not simple. Yes, I always say that math is the easiest of subjects in school. It is. Okay. But that does not mean that it's not learning anything is not a challenge. So what do I mean? So for example, negative numbers is one of the things that I see that stops kids from, prevents kids from succeeding, that's blocking kids all the way into high school and college. And it was, if you go back to how it's introduced in the sixth grade, and they don't call it negative numbers, they call it integers, and they just integrate it as if it's not a thing. That would be like, let's go on a walk, okay, around the corner, and then take them to Mount Everest and say, oh, we're just taking a walk. No, you have to, yes, you can climb Mount Everest. Yes, with the right preparation, you can meet that challenge, but you have to recognize it, to first explain to the kid that, yes, this is a thing. It's not a walk in the park. It is something you got to learn. Negative numbers is a challenge. Fractions is a challenge. So the first thing is to recognize that it's there and to recognize that it's a challenge. Number one, it's there. Now, by the way, I'm channeling Mel Fisher. Look up the famous treasure hunter, Mel Fisher, who ultimately succeeded, but the way he kept himself and his team and his investors motivated for years and years and years was this three-pronged pitch. The first is it's out there. The translation to that in math is that this subject and individual subjects, not math as a whole, fractions, negative numbers, algebra, polynomials, factoring polynomials, which is probably the hardest part of algebra. The hardest part of math, of arithmetic, is fractions and negative numbers. The hardest part of algebra is understanding how to factor polynomials, because that involves everything else that you learned until now. But anyway, so the first point is to acknowledge with all these subjects, and I teach all these mountains, fractions, integers, polynomials, factoring polynomials, all those mountains. The first step is to acknowledge and recognize that it is a challenge. It is not just walking like you would normally, that this is something that's abstract. It's something that you have to wrap your head around. It's not obvious. Do not take it for granted. That's number one. Number two is that Mel Fisher, the way Mel Fisher put it, I will find it. So the first is it's there. It's out there. The treasure's out there. Number two, I will found it. Now, this point is the single biggest reason. If you want to know why kids hate math and think they can't do math and they can play video games for hours, it's because they are convinced, and they've been for good reason, they're convinced for good reason that they cannot do math. They will not succeed in math, no matter how hard they try. And so the number one fundamental belief that you must change, the number one thing that you must change in every kid to be able to get them to even begin to learn math is that it's out there, it exists. Number two, that they will find it, they will succeed, they can succeed. And number three is it's worth it. That three-pronged message, which Mel Fisher used to motivate himself and his team for 10 years of pounding sand. He searched for that treasure for 10 years and found nothing but sand. Everybody laughed at him. Everybody made fun of him. Nobody wanted to give him money. His pitch was, it's out there. It's not easy. It's out there. I know it's out there. I'll find it. Number two. And number three, it's worth it. Now, what does that mean for a kid in math? It's worth it. Now, again, there are reasons that math is useful, but don't even try. And one of the things that I see that a lot of the books try to show how, look, math is relevant to football and to sports, and it is, okay? But trust me, from years of experience, trying to take math, which is directly relevant to sports, directly relevant to football and baseball and basketball and soccer, but if the kid, and this is my son, is not, believes he hates math, believes he can't do math, it doesn't matter how you explain it and try to show him that it's relevant to his life. Right now, the way it's relevant to life, it's worth it. The reason it's worth it for them, yes, there are real reasons and applications of math, and even to them, and they will discover that. Yes, they will get there. But right now, in school, the message, the reason it's worth it to them, the reason it's worth it to them now is because they will get the rewards now, the rewards they get now from overcoming the challenge, recognizing that it's out there, recognizing that they can do it, and three, recognizing that it's worth it. What it means worth it to them is they will get the rewards from the parents, from their peers, from the school. Suddenly, all the pressure that they're getting right now, the nagging, the schools complaining, the threats. I still remember when I was 6 years old, and I hated math when I was 6 years old. And I remember clearly I was watching the old black and white TV when I was 6 years old. And the message I got from my parents and my siblings were saying, if you don't go to school, if you don't learn, you're going to be a garbage man. And you know what my response was? Fine, I'll be a garbage man and leave me alone. So the threats, okay, don't work. What does work is that basically they will become celebrities. What's in it for them now, the reason to succeed in math, okay, now, is to show themselves that they can overcome the challenge. It is a challenge. It's out there. It's real. It's a challenge. They can win it. And when they realize it's out there and they can win it, and when they do win it, they will feel good. Because trust me, a video game has no more relevant, practical relevance to their lives. I've done this with kids. Why do you enjoy the video game? In fact, the video game is so boring. Oh, because literally for a video game, they'll press the same button for 10 hours straight. Can you imagine? And they call math boring? Think about it. But why? Because they recognize the video game is there. It's a challenge. They believe they can succeed, and it's worth it because of the recognition they get, even to themselves and to their peers, that I did it. The fact that it is something stupid that does nothing for them, but that's all they need. But they don't get that with math. It's not that the video game gives them immediate results, because math does too. When you do math interactively, the way I do and the way you practice it, It's just as interactive as a game. I don't mean I gamify it. It means the results are immediate. But that's not the reason the video game's addictive. The results are immediate, but they believe they can succeed with the math. They don't believe they can succeed, and they don't believe it's worth it. Okay, so the it's worth it part of the three pronged Mel Fisher mantra pitch is that it's worth it to them now when they recognize that it's a challenge. When it's recognized as a challenge, they recognize it as a challenge. And I don't mean math, and that's another thing. Is it's not math, it's the individual mountain, fractions, massive, negative numbers. In fact, fractions I would break down to adding and subtracting fractions, multiplying and dividing. Literally break down each of those sub mountains. Negative numbers. It's not, so stop calling it math, because when we call it math, one single term, but it basically takes all these subjects, some easy, some hard, addition, subtraction, and word problems and everything into this one thing, which they then just see as massive and painful. When you chunk it down, using a Tony Robbins word, Tony, if you're listening, this is for you. Okay, when you chunk it, when you make it individual, when you break down to individual parts, okay, you recognize each part. And in this case, so why do I say that? So many times I talk to students who are doing well in math. I look for A students also. In my search, as I walk around the world and I talk to people looking for students struggling with math, I also find those that are excelling in math. Okay, and I ask them, 7th grade, 8th grader, so okay, I'm getting an A. You're getting an A in math. What are you learning in math now? And they'll say things like, and these are the top students, that thing with the x squared and x, and I say, oh, polynomials. Yeah. They don't know what the word polynomial is. They're doing, and so there was, and that if you want to know why the University of California, San Diego, just the Wall Street Journal just came out with a report, shockingly discovering that college kids don't know 5th grade math. That's why. And what they discovered, that even the A students in high school did not know 5th grade math, which means even the students that are doing well, if your kid's getting an A, even in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, beware. They're not understanding what they're doing. They're mechanically complying, which is what the school is doing. The schools have given up on them being able to understand. So even those that mechanically comply and can get the A, don't know what they're doing, which is why when I ask a 5th grader, what are you learning? Okay, so sometimes they'll say fraction and decimals, okay. In sixth grade, they don't recognize the importance and significance of negative numbers, which is bad enough. But when you get to algebra, they don't recognize it. They'll say algebra or geometry. They don't know what are those things. Okay, what do they mean? And in particular, factoring polynomials. That by itself, to me, that is the hardest thing for a kid to wrap around, because what is factoring polynomials as opposed to what is a polynomial and how to do distributive property, go into all these things. Okay, so to sum this up, the 3 things you can do now, and again, it's not a one-time thing. And of course, if you want to, once you get this message, what you have to get your kid is to the point where they're willing to risk learning math. Get them to the point where they're willing to risk, to try. And in order to do that, you got to get 3 things across to them. 1, it's out there. Acknowledge it's out there. It's got a name, and it's a challenge. It's hard. It exists. It is a challenge. Number 2, you can win. Number 2, you can win at this game. You can do this. You can climb that mountain. And number 3, it's worth it. And it's worth it to you now, not because math is useful to build a bridge, or not because math is useful to figure out how to play football or basketball. It is. It's true for all those things are true. It really is true. And they'll see that. But to get them to risk learning in the first place, you have to repeat those messages over and over again. It's not a one-time thing. It's out there. It's out there. You'll find it. You'll win. It's worth it. It's worth it to you now because of the rewards you will get, the student will get from your parents, from your teachers, from your peers, by the way. Okay? Because suddenly you become a celebrity. Okay, when because in the world, when you see someone who knows math, who can get a 1350 or a 650, 700 on the math SAT, they become royalty. Colleges, scholarships, everything becomes possible. So again, this is the message you can give to your kids today. If you want to actually then, once if they get a little bit interested, if they're willing to risk it, click the link below, get on a free call with me with your kid. Let's do an assessment and let's make them an offer and you an offer to see how I can help them see that truth and win.